Welcome back to the Way Out West channel. Today I feature a short interview with Jules Boult, who's going to tell us about what's coming up this Sunday at Way Out West. Jules has put together a show called Nola's Ark, and if you're a little bit confused about Nola, the NO stands for New Orleans and the LA is the abbreviation for Louisiana. This is going to be a fabulous show. We've still got some tickets available and walk-ups are allowed, so we hope to see you there for our Christmas breakup. Also, don't forget the Way Out West 20th anniversary book is still available, and it will make a fantastic Christmas gift for someone that loves music. So we hope to see you there. Bye for now.
Certainly was, Rob. In fact, it was. Looking back now, I realise I was pretty fortunate and had a lot of bases covered in the sense that my maternal grandmother was, born at the turn of the 1900s, was the first female, a woman, to graduate from the Conservatory of Music here in Melbourne at the same level as a man. Because we think back then there was men and women did different things, and she continued as a piano teacher into her mid-90s. Her entire life was dedicated to music. And, of course, when we all turned 5, when I say we, I mean my siblings and cousins and whatnot, or all her grandchildren, when we turned 5, we were sat on the piano stool and put through that, some people might be familiar with that, the classical training and AMEB stuff and all that. But on the other side, I had my dad, who was a self-taught jazz musician. So we'd go from Nana teaches the classical stuff on the piano to, and it's almost come full circle with COVID, soirees at home in the house where Dad would be, there'd be Dad on the piano, someone else on the organ, just playing, gospel and boogie woogie and all that sort of stuff. And I remember sitting at my dad's feet by the piano as a little boy and just thinking, this is what I like. This is the sound I like. And that's so... I guess that's the backstory right there. Yeah, certainly. When I first one would be my dad, because it was that boogie woogie sound, and and when I asked him, I was about 8 years old. I was like, how do you do this, right? And then of course he showed me. He didn't show me too much because he still wanted to be the star of the show at the family soirees, but it led me to. He suggested finding other musicians. So he very much like the Pine Tops, the various Pine Tops, Smith, Perkins, so on and so forth. And then Mum was a huge Ray Charles fan, so that was an obvious one. And then as I got a little older, through consuming that, I found the likes of Professor Longhair, James Booker, Dr. John, and the rest is history, as they say. Because, it's all blues, it's all jazz, but there's that different flavour over the other side of the fence. So the first thing I could say is it just feels like home when I'm there. That's the first thing. And certainly I felt after exploring the music of those piano players I just mentioned for a number of years, for about a decade, it was time to go and see it for myself. And I guess I was fortunate, my initial foray in there, I met and worked with a bunch of great musicians there, a couple of guys out of Preservation Hall, a couple of guys run the jazz program at Loyola Uni and so on and so forth. Just really wonderful people and wonderful musicians. And when you feel like then you have a community that you're part of, which is what I felt like there, you feel like you have a base. And it's very easy to come and go. And I still talk to these guys, on a regular basis from halfway across the world. So it's as much about the people as the music for me in New Orleans. Very
and the
different.
food's not bad.
Certainly the nightlife. It's I always realise when I leave there, because there's lots of fun and games with colleagues and whatnot, that when I leave, I always think, if I stayed any longer, I might be in pretty bad shape. So, there was not many nights in bed before 3 a.m. I can tell you that. Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because I'm excited. It was really the first thing, the concept came about because I just felt like I wanted to. First of all, it was a great privilege to be asked to do the Christmas party at Way Out West by yourself. Obviously, something that the late great Chris Wilson did for a long, long time, and you know, it's in trying to keep the. I just figured that it was more than just a gig. You know, I wanted to do it some honour, and at the same time, I had many musician friends, and myself included, that have really been starved of the opportunity to perform. And I just thought, let's just make it a celebration on all fronts. And that got me thinking, well, how big can I make this band? And then because the Redeemers, there's core Redeemers, but it's also, as most people and fans are aware, it's a group of musicians with me that I call upon. There's probably about 40 musicians really in the Redeemers at some point. I thought, well, why don't I do something a little different? And I thought, well, I might like 2 saxophones. I thought, well, I should have 2 trumpets, 2 trombones. I thought, well, if I've got 2 of them, maybe I'll do 2 basses and 2 drummers. And then I thought, well, it's a bit like Noah's Ark, 2 of everything. So, and I threw it out to the guys and cherry picked who I, who was going to play. And that is the list of musicians is, we have Mike DeCecco and Mark Grundon on the 2 percussionists who are known to many. Aaron Richard, of course, the sousaphone player who's been with me since day dot on Sousa, and the one and only Grant Comerford on the bass, because you get that nice blend of the traditional New Orleans Sousa with that sort of the meters funky bass stuff. And I'm a horn fanatic. Gigs for me are like the punters. I sit there, I set up a song, and then I listen to wonderful horn players sculpt the air with their music. And I really picked my favourite guys, which is Ash Gordian, who's an absolute legend in this city on the alto sax. Andrew Houston, of course, who again, like Aaron, has very, very familiar to people at Redeemers gigs. The one and only Paul Coyle, who again you would have seen a lot of at Way Out West, is just beautiful person, an amazing trumpet player. Standing next to Trav Woods, the band leader from the Horns of Leroy, on trumpet. So I'm really spoiled. And then Nick Peach, who I think last thing I saw, he posted he was playing in front of 100,000 people at the MCG with the Hilltop Hoods or something like that on trombone, and young Oscar Moore, who's breaking in at the moment on trombone as well. And together, it'll be something. We don't know what it's going to be because it hasn't been done before. This is a first, Rob. But it's what I say to people is we all speak the same language. We all have the same dialogue. Now, we don't know what the conversation's going to be. Like when we just dialed in here, I didn't know what the questions were or what the conversation's going to be, but we can talk to each other and we can communicate with each other. That's how I put my bands together. We really don't, and it doesn't go beyond that. I can honestly say there's no, I don't fine tune it any more than that. I like to just create a platform for these musicians to bring their music.
Sure hope you enjoyed that little chat with Jules. He's a fantastic musician. I'm so looking forward to seeing him on Sunday. You may notice that I'm not wearing those glasses. I got sick of all that reflection off the screen, so I'm recording this and cannot see a thing. Everything is a blur. See you Sunday.